Hi, my name is Emily. This is my presentation for week 2 for the course POL 493. I'm first going to start off by talking about Woodrow Wilson. Public administration was initially studied by Woodrow Wilson, and he wrote an essay called The Study of Administration. He focused on separating administration and politics because he didn't like how politics would get in the way of the administrative work. But because of politics, administrations had jobs and stuff to discuss, but they tried not to let politics get in the way of everything and make everything political. Next, we have Frederick Taylor. He developed scientific management and focused a lot on individuals. His scientific management theory also focused on how to improve efficiency, but not only did he focus on individuals in general, but he put a lot of thought and attention on guidance for managers. And through those managers, the workplace would pick up its efficiency and kind of work better. And lastly, Taylor also put pressure on the efficiency of industrial systems, but it was soon turned from industrial to more of an administrative focus. And next we have Golik's POSDCORB, which stands for Planning, Organizing, Staffing, Directing, Coordinating, Reporting, and Budgeting. He also mentioned that there were a few ways to divide work, which was through purpose, process, people or things, and place. And Golik also talked about the number of organizational levels that might be useful. The levels just kind of depended on what kind of work and the amount of people. He also liked to emphasize that there should be one supervisor or a manager, and typically each supervisor would have between 6 to 10 people to look after. Here we have Max Weber, who was a sociologist who focused on studying big companies. He came up with the word bureaucracy and identified it in 7 specific steps. The first step being that the structure of the organization is supposed to be solid. The second being that the rules of managers or those higher up should be official rules. The third step is in order to keep it organized and efficient, the people who are qualified to work are employed. So if people aren't qualified, they shouldn't be employed at all. It's only for the people, who can work those hard days and long hours. The fourth is that each level is under the authority to the level above them, so they have rankings, and say the fourth level, for instance, they would be below the third level, obviously, and that third level will have a ranking authority over them. The fifth step is that it's important for managers to keep copies of records to keep track of everything. The sixth is that managers must have the proper training, obviously, then they wouldn't be managers. And the seventh being that working in a bureaucracy, it must be the number one job and priority. So if they have 2 jobs, the other job can't be the top one that they focus on. They have to focus on this job. Next, we have Mary Parker Follett. She believed in management and how it was important in order for workers to get tasks done. She also believed that one of the best things a leader could do is make more leaders, and she really focused on having managers use their powers with others and not over others. She was really good at making it where managers aren't too overbearing. And lastly, we have Herbert Simon. He believed that most people act with bounded rationality, And in his study, he came up with the conclusion that because we have big organizations, it's because people are bounded too much, or they're too limited to figure out the right solution for some problems alone. So that's why we have such large organizations. He also claimed that these organizations are used to keep everyone rational, hence founded rationality. And one key factor that makes people irrational is when their emotions get in the way. That's what he believed. He believed that emotions would just get in the way of um, their thinking process, so it'd make people irrational. And as a result, Simon created two decision-making mechanisms for each person to use. The first was to either just be in the organization, and the other option was to give certain demeanor to the organization. And that is it for my slideshow.